Good morning to all of you. I'm very happy to welcome you on the course. So you are in the course, Community Engagement, Awareness, and Behavioral Change. So just to introduce you some words about who I am. My name is Esther Schmidt. I am a French researcher. I teach as well in a university in France, and I work on several projects related to the food system and the sustainability. So I really hope you will enjoy the course. So just to let you know, we have 5 courses together, and you have your manual, which is the base unit to study. And today with the course, we are going to go a little bit more deeper on the subject. So just to let you know, if you see my eyes going next to the camera, it's because I wrote the prompt for each slides to make sure that I don't forget anything. So sometimes maybe I will have to read a little bit. I have some great bullet points that I want to share to you. So let's go. So this first course is about community engagement and communication for food waste prevention. And this module is engage local communities and build partnerships to co-create solutions and raise awareness on food loss and waste. So we are going to examine all the collective issue about this subject. We are going to talk about the communities, the partnership, the communication, and you will see the difference between individualistic, if I can say it like this, actions versus collective actions, and you will see that the collective actions are really powerful. So you will be able to understand the food loss and waste in the point of view of a system, let's say as well like an ecosystem. You will understand how the local communities are really involved in this process. You will understand more the communication around the subject and all the engagement, the involvement that can help to change our behavior and all the conditions and barriers regarding the community. So, food loss and waste as a systemic issue. So, as I said in the introduction, it's true that the food loss and waste, it's not only your problem or my problem, it's really the problem of everybody in the world, on the earth. And as well, it's as well a subject that is really important for all the stakeholders in this ecosystem of food loss and waste. So, for example, we really need to be aware of the subject regarding all the parts. So, for example, if you see the visual I have put on the slide, it's questions about the supplier, how they manage the food loss and waste, but as well the manufacturers, all the distributors, the retailers, and the consumers. So we are all consumers, right? Maybe we are not a supplier, maybe we are not a distributor, but we are all consumers. So this is the problem of everyone. And we will see later that all actions we are doing, us as consumers, can help to manage very well the whole ecosystem of food loss and waste. Yes, to say it, isolated solutions are structurally insufficient. So that's why I said in the introduction that the actions made in the collective world are much more powerful. So food loss and waste as a collective action challenge, here we are. So it really depends on how all the coordination is made through all the actors, because all the actions have to be made in the whole ecosystem and not isolated, because it's less powerful. But it means as well that all the stakeholders, for example, or the collective, or the community, they need a good communication, they need to cooperate and work hands by hands, because it's going to work. And it's true that I've wrote individual awareness alone is insufficient. This is true, and this is not true. This is true because if we are doing things all by ourselves, but alone, the power of the food loss and waste management is less more important. But it's true that it starts with the awareness we have, individually speaking. So the more we are aware of the situation, and the more we can provide our effort and our work and our support to the whole food system. So it's important to share actions, to share the norms, to communicate together, to see how we can improve the food loss and waste management. So the central role of local communities, the norms, for example, our meanings are locally constructed. We often say that when we start to change, it's always better to start our change in our, let's say, our zone, our local zone, and then expand those efforts around the zone, to expand then in a level of the region, maybe then the country, because if we are all doing this, the entire world will get the benefit of all the actions. So it's true that we need to learn, we need to improve ourselves, we need to get information, we need to get in touch to what are the small steps we can do every day to battle this problem of food loss and waste. And it's true, to conclude with the last bullet point, that institutional context conditions success. It means as well that we need to get the support of the institutions. We will see that at the level of large communities, for a country, for example, we need to have a great governance to help us to know the path that we all need to take. So let's go a little bit more further. Local communities within the food system. As I said already, this is very important. Don't think that it's just your problem or the problem of your village or the problem of the city where you're living. It's the problem of everyone. The production, the consumption, the waste, the distributors, the retailer, we are all concerned. Yes, the local context shaped the perception of waste. It means as well that we are not facing the same challenges, locally speaking. So sometimes it's, yes, better to make energy and take a little bit time to understand what's going on in our zone, and to understand what kind of work, what kind of job, what is my contribution in my local zone that I can give. And then place-based approaches address territorial specificities, because sometimes the local problems are not the same as the territorial, your territoire. So it's to have like a view of our zone, and to have a larger view of all the actions we can take. I'm just having a look on my slide to make sure I don't forget anything. So, communities as agents of behavioral change. So, let's say that it's always very important to see how our peers are acting, because sometimes we don't have the information. We are starting to create this contribution we want to make in the community to handle the problem of the food loss and waste. And sometimes we don't know. We have no idea how to start. So it's always very interesting to see our peers, how they behave, how they practice, what are their habits regarding this problem, these actions they want to make, because we need to get inspiration source, and we will see later on in the course that of course we can go on applications, we can go on the internet, we can search information on the internet, and this is really great. This is wonderful. This is a tool I love. I mean, we can get so many information, great information on the internet. But sometimes it's as well very good to stay on the ground, just close the internet and have a look on what our peers are doing around us. Because the more we get involved in the community, the more the community is growing, and the more all the actions and the strengths are mixing together, and we have more chance to get the success. And it's true that we can share the responsibility as it is written. We share the responsibility, and the more we are together, and the more we get the chance to get long-term objectives and engagement. And this is really important, because the food loss and waste, this is not the problem of 1 or 2 days or 1 year. This is a real challenge that we are all facing, but for the long term. So I just put this great visual to show you the loop of the closed loop of community composting, how you can maybe get some ideas to do it on your own with your own community. Have a look, please. And then we continue with the role of the community organizations and local actors. So the diversity of actors involved in local prevention. So maybe have a look on your own community, what kind of action, what kind of actors are involved in this challenge. The visual here is to show you the food system sphere, because there is the food security. So food security, we are talking about what to eat, how to produce in a sustainable way, and as well how to manage our food loss and waste. So food security is a whole subject by itself. But it's involved in the sustainability performance, and actors and stakeholders, all of them are involved. And this is the core, the entire system. And this belongs to the sociality elements. It means that it's a societal problem, challenge, and natural elements. It means that it's just to show you the whole ecosystem that goes from, that starts from us to the nature. Let's say like this. We'll see as well that the education is really important, because the more we are educated to know how to take this challenge, the more we are aware, and the more we are building new skills, and the more we can do it every day, and then it becomes a habit. So let's continue with the communication and awareness raising strategies. Let me just have a look on my notes. Okay. Yes, so the communication shapes the social norms, because the information is one thing, but the communication is another thing. I mean, the information is part of the communication, and it's really how we are going to communicate with our peers, how we are going to communicate the actions we want to take, how the communication as well comes to us to be talked, and to be, yes, talked to know what to do on everyday life. The highlighting positive behaviors is already very good, because we know that if we are doing well every day, it's a celebration. Even if the first day we just used, for example, our leftovers instead of wasting, this is already a very good celebration we have to make, and said, wow, today I didn't throw it away, my waste, and I really used all the leftovers to cook again. This is very good. Aligning local narratives with sustainability goals, because it's always about getting ideas. This is very great. But then there is a strategy about sustainability goals that we can achieve or that we can face. So having ideas need always to be strategized and aligned to the goals and the actions we are doing on the ground. So thinking is very well, acting is better. So I just show you this with this visual communication used to overcome barriers and normative and social change. It just show you that you as an individual, me as an individual, if I do it well, if I have the knowledge, the expertise, the skills, I can talk to my family and my peer networks, and then they are doing the same on their own, and then it's a good source of inspiration we can share. And then when the peers are doing well, the family, it means more people than just me on my own. It means that then the community will perform, and they will do probably, yes, good actions on the ground, and the community can be a good leader. They can provide great information, and they can manage as well the collective and the community to do it together. And then it can go to the social and the structural part, because the more we are talking, the more we have this communication, it can go as well to all the institutions, because they have the policies, the regulations, they know how to give the guidance, they have all the protocols they can give. So we can read this visual from the bottom: individual, family, peer, community, social, but we can see as well in the contrary, and starting from the social and structural and going until the individual, because they can, for example, the institutions, they can launch a great project to manage the food loss and waste, and then they are talking to the communities. The communities is now talking to the peers, the member of the communities, the family, and then it arises as well to us, until us, I want to say. So you can really read it on both ways. Community engagement and behavioral change. So, yes. Awareness without action is insufficient. Awareness, it's the first point, because to act, we need to be aware. But if we are just aware, but we are not acting, we didn't do really the job. So observing, talking with the community, with the peers, let us to grow and to discover alternative practices that we didn't do before, for example, and we want to change it. We want to change our personal behavior. So the fact that we are still sharing together can help us to do alternative practices. So action is really important. So for example, we see in the communities that they organize many events, for example, workshops, conferences, special events about the subject, peer-to-peer initiatives. For example, I have an idea, I share to my peer say, okay, this is a great idea, I want to follow you, and then we find another person, and then we are already starting a group, and together we can go really further. So sometimes, of course, we need some specific conditions to be able to act very well, infrastructure, services supporting behavior change, because sometimes we just need to see ourselves to talk and we need a place for that, or we need to change it's an example, you know, in my town we have decided in our local community to create a common compost, for example. So we need to think about it, we need to find the material, we need to organize it. So it's about infrastructure, but maybe for other example, it's another type of infrastructure. So this is the loop of the community action model that I wanted to show you. Please have a look on it. Yes, it's a great loop, because when all those steps are very when there is an harmony between all those steps, it means that it works. And then if you have the model, it means that you can repeat the process. So the challenges to the community engagement. So it's true, sometimes we don't have the time. We want to do things, but we don't have the time. The money, time and money are always the two main barriers of this challenge. The social inequalities as well, because sometimes not all the people in the community can be really engaged in the process because of several unequal ability. So it can happen as well. And the cultural resistance, because sometimes some people are not interested in by doing new actions regarding this subject. So, and it's okay. I mean, maybe it's not the right time for them today, but it can be the right time later on. That's fine. And the trust, because yes, sometimes we can have the feeling that not everyone is involved in the process. So, or we are doing differently regarding the actions. So the trust sometimes can be, let's say, can be a little bit disturbed. And the government's fragmentation, because when we are talking about community engagement, we need leaders, let's say it like this, leaders, to help us to achieve the goals. And sometimes it's not clear, sometimes no leaders want to be the leaders. So, and sometimes, yes, this governance needs to be created, and we need to find innovation to know how to manage the challenge altogether. Institutional support and policy alignment. So this is about, for example, the cross-sector alignment. As I said before, the agriculture is concerned. We're talking about the waste, but the health, the social policies. And sometimes it's true that we need a huge support of institutions, because they provide the policy, they can provide the procedures, they can provide the help. They can help us for the fund, for example, to organize some new trainings, great facilitation. They know to help us how to exchange. And the supportive institution enabling to rather than prescribing actions. So yes, it's according to me, according to us, it's really this ecosystem of governance as well that we need to be aware of, and to know how we are facing all together at the same time this challenge of food loss and waste. So some key takeaways before we finish. Food loss and waste are a collective challenge. Communities are key drivers of change. I love communities. I love to search peers to face the same challenges. The more we are together, the strongest we are. Yes, the importance of place-based and participatory approaches, because the more we are in action, and it's the experimentation, which is very important, because when we do new experimentary actions, we are more in action and dynamic. There is a great energy. So the role of the partnership and communication, and the need for institutional support and alignment, because they are a great stakeholder in this ecosystem. I would like to invite you to get in touch, please, with Food Chase project that you can find on the internet. You have as well my LinkedIn page if you want to follow the project I'm doing with all my peers, and you have my email if you have any question or any remarks. And I thank you very much, and I wish you a very great day, and we continue with the module number 2.